Everybody wants a life worth living. Opportunity is what we're giving. SSDF realize the plight of the marginalized. And through beneficiary involvement, we give our commitment to bring improvement to the lives of the indigent. Wow. SSDF help the poor and the needy. Help.
Bonjour, Jan26, and it's a pleasure to be back in January 2026. It's another episode. It's actually episode 5 of SSDF, Uplifting People, Transforming Communities. I am your host, Ika Fergus, Communications Officer of the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. Now, as a central pillar of St. Lucia's social protection framework, the SSDF, an implementing agency of, well, we used to be under the Ministry of Equity, but we will be under some new leadership. As far as I'm concerned, the Office of the Prime Minister. So I'll be giving you some information, more information about that in our next episode. And of course, this has we have long been committed as an agency to people-centered and community-driven development. Its mandate, SSDF's mandate, focuses on improving the quality of life for the vulnerable households and communities through poverty reduction programs, skills training, micro-enterprise support, and infrastructure development. Over the years, the agency has built a strong reputation for empowering citizens and fostering sustainable pathways out of poverty. Hence the reason for this program, where I will inform you of the various projects and programs that SSDF has and continues to initiate by interviewing the staff and affiliates of the organization. Welcome again, and of course, thank you very much for viewing. My guest today is a new addition, a dynamic addition to the SSDF organization. Her name is Miss Wendy Monrose, and she is the program coordinator of Kudme Setlisi, affectionately known as KSL at SSDF. So welcome, Miss Monrose.
Thank you so much, Miss Fergus. I actually feel very welcomed.
Wonderful. So before we dive into the real issue of what KSL is all about, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am a people's person. I enjoy working with young persons, and I also enjoy working with women. I'm a mom, a mother of 2 adult children, and so right now for me, it's all about immersing myself in doing the best that I can to be able to make this project, this program KSL, an awesome one at SSDF.
And of course, Miss Monrose has all her credentials, and she has already proven what she's about and what she can do as far as the 2025 report, already. So she's doing very well. So, Miss Monrose, for the viewers and those who may not, Kudme Setlisi, we know what Kudme is, but tell our viewers who may not be familiar what Kudme Setlisi, what that program is about, and its role in St. Lucia's social landscape.
Okay, and one of the things I love about Kudme Setlisi, but from now on we'll say KSL, is the word Kudme, because most St. Lucian would be familiar with that word Kudme, coming together. And this project is all about bringing together institutions, stakeholders, agencies to be able to work with the poor, the indigent, and the vulnerable, so that we are trying to get them from the position that they're at to be able to become more socio and economically independent, empowered to be able to better take care of themselves. So KSL performs a fundamental role in that we want to see that more persons are enjoying a better quality of life in St. Lucia.
Okay, so how do you ensure that the most vulnerable get access to KSL?
That's a good question. And so KSL obtains the clients from the welfare department, and the welfare department takes care of the poor and the vulnerable. And so we would have had some individuals at the welfare department who are under the public assistance program. But you would appreciate that over the years, the number of persons who are on that program has increased significantly. And so this puts extra pressure on the government's purse. And KSL tries to help reduce that pressure. How do we do that? By working with those individuals. We get those names from the welfare department. We get the list of names from the welfare department, and we work over a 24-month period to be able to help those persons identify ways, develop skills that they are able to transition from being dependent on the state to standing on their own 2 feet, to being economically sound, to being able to take care of their families, and to be better represented in society.
Okay. So tell us, what are the main areas of focus for KSL, and why are these so important for national development?
Okay. So we operate by a 7-pillar system that we focus on to be able to transition that clients through the period and eventually to be able to what we call graduate from the program. We focus on identification. Everybody in St. Lucia has to have some critical pieces of document to be able to be ID'd. And so we need birth certificate. And you'd be amazed at the number of persons who do not have that, and they have reached adult stage and they do not have that. We go through the national ID as well. We go through, and when we speak of ID, we speak of the NIC number, because if you become an adult and you need to work, you need those things. We also go through education. Access to education, obtaining the various things that you need to be able to be sound within the education system. We also look at the pillar of family dynamics. What's existing in the family? Are persons able to function properly within the family? Are there issues that are denying children the opportunity to be able to function properly at school? Is there a situation of abuse? Is there a situation of neglect? Whatever the case may be, we look at the family dynamics. We also look at the issue of employment. Employment is critical. You would appreciate that without money, what are we able to do? And so we focus on employment, we focus on accessing employment, not just being employed, but being employed to be able to earn monies that are going to be able to take care of yourself and the family. We look at the income. What level of income are you obtaining? We seek out ways to be able to help persons obtain higher levels of income, perhaps by becoming more skilled, by becoming more certified, by accessing avenues of education. All of this we do in a bid of ensuring that holistically the persons who are on our program, they receive resources, they receive access to resources, they receive access to agencies that are going to help improve the overall standard of living.
So before we move on to the next question, which is critical as far as, is there a special process for choosing? You did mention earlier that you basically your main source of clientele is from the welfare department. So should we say that KSL is sort of like an extension, an extra arm?
We could say that, and we could say that KSL is a flagship program that assists the welfare department to be able to ensure that we really boost the quality of living for persons, and that we help persons graduate to a point that they're better able to take care of themselves.
Okay, so let's go into the process.
That's right. And so, as I would say that the welfare department has a long list of persons who are in need of assistance, okay? And through the mechanisms that exist, we would have to go through the SLNet. They would have to be assessed, they would have to be interviewed, etc. And having gone through the process, a list is generated of who we're going to be working with under the KSL program for the 24-month period, okay? Now, we say 24 months, but depends on the person, depend on the household, depend on the ability to work with us at a particular pace. You may have families who are able to graduate by 6 months, by 9 months, by a year. And of course, we have the 24-month period that we create. So when that list is generated and we have received it and they've gone through the assessment period, then work commences with KSL. Of course, you would have to be oriented. The households are oriented. The households are made to understand what it is they are entering. And we, of course, want to get expressed willingness for participating. Because in as much as we're willing to assist, we're not here to force persons. It has to be a situation where persons are ready, persons are willing to receive the help and understand the amount of work that has to be put in. Change is not immediate. Change is a gradual process. And even in the process of change, we may experience retrograde steps, but there has to be the willingness. And we work with those individuals through the period to be able to take them through the help that they need.
Okay, now we're heading straight into any success stories, seeing that you see at times is according to the person's level of their willingness to participate and to change their life. They could graduate in as soon as 6 months. And we're not talking about graduating from school, but literally the school of hard knocks, coming from a lower level to elevating yourself and your family. So tell us a few success stories.
We have had success stories at KSL. Every cohort of KSL produces success stories. And even now, as we are looking forward to wrapping up this cohort that we have in June, we already have success stories. I can tell you of success stories of persons being able to gain employment, and gain employment through two means. One, being able to access via academic qualifications or being able to access via completion of technical and vocational studies. We have success stories in that. We have success stories in preparing those individuals for the field of work, understanding how to write their letters, understanding how to write out their resumes, understanding the process of preparing for an interview, and then actually going to that interview and landing that job. That's a success story for us at KSL, because remember, those persons were unemployed, and they can now be successfully employed. We have success stories of having individuals who have been sitting dependent on that public assistance program and not realizing that the very yard that they are in can be a source of income. And so at KSL, we commenced what we call our KSL agricultural cohort. What is that? We identified some persons who are willing to utilize agriculture to be a means of making a living. And we have the success stories from our very first cohort of individuals who are now proudly able to announce that they've made some money by the corn that they planted, by the okra that they planted, the salad beans that they planted, lettuce, and the list goes on. Even within that agricultural cohort, we have a further success story where some women that we had in that cohort, we were able to get them registered with Helen's Daughters to be able to do the introduction to farming program. After 12 weeks, 5 of these ladies, five registered, and 5 of these ladies have successfully completed and received their certificates.
Wonderful.
This is just a tip of the success that we register at KSL.
All right. So we're due for a short pause. And since you're talking about success stories, and you mentioned a new agricultural project, the first cohort, our next question will be your partnerships and collaborations.
Awesome.
So we'll continue with Miss Monrose right here on SSDF, transforming people, uplifting people, transforming communities.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The Good Food Revolution.
Welcome back to SSDF, uplifting people, transforming communities. I am your host, Ika Fergus, and my guest today is our Kudme Setlisi Program Coordinator, KSL Program Coordinator, Miss Wendy Monrose. Now, Miss Monrose, we were talking about your success stories, and I remember earlier today, Miss Monrose made a presentation for her first year, and just giving us a synopsis of all the work that her team and herself have done for the year of 2025. And she did mention a success story where a young lady who was actually part of those life skills workshop, training, employment training, etc. She completed, like for example, she completed the training on Monday. On Tuesday, she got a job. She got hired. She was hired, and she was called in for the interview, and she got the job. So that's how extensive and solid our programs are at SSDF. So, Ms. Monrose, tell us about your partnerships and collaborations. Does KSL work with business professionals, government ministries, regional international partners? How important are these partnerships to the success of your programs?
Okay, the very name of the project, Kudme Setlisi,
exactly.
indicates that we do not work alone. So I don't work alone. I work with a wonderful, dedicated, professional, hardworking team, my family case workers. But aside from that, we don't operate alone. And so we do work with partners. And I must highlight just a few of the partners that we have. We have the Ministry of Agriculture. When we decided that we were going to do this project of having the KSL agricultural cohort, you would appreciate that we are not agriculturally skilled. But the Ministry of Agriculture came on board, and we have had extensive sessions with regional heads, and they have been able to provide us with the technical expertise that we need to be able to train those individuals. And the success that we are registering with this first cohort is because of the partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture officials. So much so that we have a demonstration farm in the making. And that farm is going to help all other cohorts that we want to have training, we want to have any field trips. We can take them to that farm and they can get first-hand information. I told you about the course that we did with Helen's Daughters, the ladies. That's also partnership, because Helen's Daughters listened to us, understood what we were trying to do, and allowed the ladies to be registered. This partnership has developed a further success story. Having successfully completed that course, these ladies can use the certificate to obtain the agriculture identification cards. Of course, we know what that's going to land them when they grow bigger and they have produce to sell. They have the ID cards to be able to serve as the proof that they're legitimate farmers.
And of course, it gives them some access to discounts and the benefits that farmers would have.
They get access to discounts and any other promotions that the ministry can be having, or even the Taiwanese embassy, because sometimes the Taiwanese embassy has promotions. We are in the process of going to partner with the Taiwanese embassy too, because through the Ministry of Agriculture, we got to engage in conversation with the Taiwanese embassy, and they're willing to provide us with some training in the area of composting. So again, we can't do that on our own. We are able to do it only through partnerships. And I just want to highlight one other activity we had on for the Christmas. We had our KSL Family Fundy, where we brought our clients together with their children. We felt that was a way to have them appreciate the Christmas season, celebrate the Christmas season, perhaps in a way that they can't normally do within their households. And we didn't do it alone. We did it through partnership. We were able to get support from the brewery. We were able to get support from corporate citizens. We were able to get support from residents overseas. They were able to lend support by giving us discounts on the services that we wanted, providing us with the toys that we wanted to gift the children. In fact, this was Kudme in living color. This was Kudme really portraying that when you bring people together, so much more can be achieved.
So how is the KSL department financed, and is the finance sustainable?
Finance is sustainable, yes, and finance through budget allocation every year. Of course, you would appreciate that we have to justify, we have to demonstrate the purpose for the funds, but given the efforts, given the work, given the success, we get our budget allocations.
Okay. So what systems are in place to measure the success of the KSL program?
Okay, so we have monitoring and evaluation steps. So we have a range of facilities that we use to be able to monitor. We have standardized monitoring tools that we use, evaluation tools that we use, but most importantly, we are able to evaluate through the stories, through the testimonies of the individuals that we are working with. They best can see whether they're impressed, whether they found that they have registered improvement in their lives, whether they're satisfied, whether they're thankful and grateful for the assistance that they need. And thus far, the results have been good, the feedback has been good, which tells that the job, the work that we're attempting to do, it's worthwhile and it's meeting the needs of the individual.
Okay. So what are some of, now we get into the other side of it. What are some of the main challenges the KSL program faces regarding the implementation of projects or overall? What are the challenges as far as clients and so on?
Okay, so we admitting that change is not immediate. Change can be challenging. And sometimes we face resistance from some clients who are not ready to do the work, who are not ready to subscribe to the work that is necessary for them to register. But let's be fair to them. Some of those clients have experienced trauma. Some of those clients know nothing but the life that they're living, the challenges that they're going through at the moment. And so there may be a bit of hesitation, there may be a bit of pessimism and anxiety as to whether that really would work. So we do have those. We also have the challenge of those persons who do not want to work at all. They do not want to do the work, they just want to receive. There's this misconception that under the KSL program, you sit pretty and you just receive. So you receive vouchers, you receive assistance. If you need the help for your children to go to school, it's just a matter of calling and getting. Yes, we do provide that assistance, but remember, the program is over a period of time and you would have to go to stand on your feet at some time. So we cannot just give. So we do get persons who are not willing to do the work, and we do get persons who resist and who do not comply with what it is they have to do, because there are standards to be met, there are conditions to be met. So we face that challenge of, unfortunately, some persons not living up to their expectation as a client and cannot complete the program.
And as far as you have mentioned with your partners and collaborations, it doesn't seem like you have any major challenges with these persons, because they seem to be so quick to come on board and, you know, get work done.
They are very willing, very cooperative, enthusiastic to provide assistance.
Right,
yes.
right. Okay. So what message would you like to leave with St. Lucians about the importance of social development and community empowerment?
I love that word, empowerment. And the message that I want to leave is that we need to access opportunities for empowerment. This is what makes the difference in the quality of life that we live. This is what makes the difference in who remains at level A and who can progress to level B, C, and even further. And so when opportunities for empowerment come aboard, let us make use of these opportunities. Let us grab those opportunities and let us make the most of it. I also want to say that yes, we sometimes complain that life is challenging. And it is true that life is challenging, but let's look on the brighter side. There are opportunities to make life less challenging. Let's put our best foot forward. Let's embrace positivity. Let us recognize that the change begins with us, and we can make that move, make the advancement to the betterment of ourselves, and by extension, our families, and by further extension, society at large.
So in other words, last play away, buy gum.
Buy gum, fesa unipufe.
Exactly, because it is available. And at SSDF, it's not all about giving handouts. It is, we look at it holistically, where you actually get the opportunity to elevate yourself so that you can sustain yourself in the best way for you and your family. So that's what it's all about. So again, thank you very much, Miss Monrose, for being my guest today. And of course, just letting you know, if any of you, our viewers, are interested in the KSL program, you can always call us at 452-6699, Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Ask to speak to Miss Monrose if she's available. If not, you could just ask to speak to one of her team members, one of the Kudme Setlisi team members, and of course, you'll get more information from them. So again, thank you, St. Lucia. This has been episode 5 of SSDF, Uplifting People, Transforming Communities. Join us next time on NTN for another enlightening discussion. And just a note, we have moved. We are now located in the Carolec building in Sanssouci. Right, so feel free to give us a visit on any information or anything that you would like. If you'd like to speak with any of our caseworkers or any departments, you could feel free to do so. And of course, call us again at 452-6699, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at SSDF, and of course, our website, slustf.net. Thank you so much. And again, join us next time for much more of SSDF, Uplifting People, Transforming Communities.
Everybody wants a life worth living. Opportunity is what we're giving. SSDF realize the plight of the marginalized, and through beneficiary involvement, we give our commitment to bring improvement to the lives of the indigent. Wow. SSDF help the poor and the needy, help all the youth and elderly with housing and domestic sanitation. SSDF even help with education, creating better social cohesion, better social integration, creating national prosperity, improving life in the country. SSDF uplifting people, transforming communities. SSDF uplifting people, transforming communities. SSDF uplifting people, transforming communities. SSDF uplifting people, transforming communities.